Shedeur Sanders, to me, is a generational quarterback prospect. If you are the New York Giants or the Las Vegas Raiders, there's no way you can pass on drafting Shedeur Sanders with the first overall pick. Shedeur Sanders, to me, is chocolate-covered Joe Burrow. There's a lot of similarities in both Shedeur and Joe Burrow's game. They both are really prolific pocket passers. They got a really good feel for moving inside of the pocket, being able to evade pressure. They have really good accuracy. They throw with great anticipation. As soon as a wide receiver makes their break, boom, it's there. They don't have the strongest arms, but they have good enough arms that they can make every single throw. And plus, they throw the ball with great touch down the field. Shaduer Sanders is everything that you look for in the franchise quarterback. He has aura, he has moxie, he has charisma. Same thing with Joe Burrow when he was coming out of LSU. When you looked at Joe Burrow during his LSU career, especially during his final season, you just saw a dude that just oozed confidence. Joe Burrow had franchise quarterback written all over him, and the same thing can be said about Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is one of those quarterback prospects that when you draft him, the day he first walks into your facilities, he immediately changes the culture of your franchise. Look what he has done his last 2 seasons at Colorado. He has resurrected a relevant program. Colorado hasn't made this much noise since they had Airbnb running it up at running back. This past year, 35 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, completing 74.2% of his passes. That is one of the best statistical seasons that any quarterback has put up this year. Even last year, 27 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That was the best touchdown to interception ratio in all of FBS. Not only is Shedeur Sanders really accurate, but he has a high football IQ. He understands coverages. That's why he throws the ball with so much anticipation. He's good at reading defenses. That's what you need if you want to be a successful quarterback at the next level. When I am evaluating quarterbacks, the 3 most important things that I look at is, are you good at diagnosing coverages? Are you good at throwing guys open? And are you good at winning from within the pocket? Do you go through your progressions? Do you go through your reads? Shedeur Sanders checks all 3-4 of those boxes. And Joe Burrow was a similar prospect to what Shedeur Sanders is coming out. You know, they're not going to blow you away physically. They're not going to blow you away with their athleticism. But if you're looking for a guy who would come in day one and can produce at a top 15 level for you right out the gate, Shedeur Sanders is your guy. This is somebody that is already battle tested, that has already been put in the ringer, that's ready for the struggles that comes with being an NFL quarterback, getting drafted that high and not going into an ideal situation. He has played behind one of the worst offensive lines in college football for the last 2 seasons. He's no stranger to having to overcome bad offensive line play. If the Giants would have had Shedeur Sanders right now, they automatically would go from being one of the worst teams in the NFL to being an average team in the league. Because you give a guy like Shedeur Sanders, Malik Neighbors, Wandale Robinson, and Brian Dable cooking up the plays, that would be scary. Even the Las Vegas Raiders, you haven't had a quarterback with this much aura since you had Rich Gannon. That was like damn near 2 decades ago. The last time the Raiders had a competent quarterback that actually was franchise caliber, I was in the womb. You know, Derek Carr was good, but he didn't scream franchise quarterback to me. He was a good quarterback, but not a franchise quarterback. Not somebody that could elevate a franchise. Not somebody that you look at and say, oh yeah, you're the one that can lead us to glory. When you look at Shedeur Sanders, you see that smile, you see them pearly white teeth, you see a franchise quarterback. I, for the life of me, do not understand the hate that Shedeur Sanders gets. That is just completely unwarranted. I mean, yeah, he's had a little bit of some back and forth with a few former players on Twitter, but that's just what young athletes do, man. Young athletes, when you come at them, they're going to respond. You mean to tell me that Shedeur doesn't have a right to respond? Come on now. Meanwhile, you have guys like Malik Neighbors and everybody else taking shots at their coaches, not getting enough touches. Like, Shedeur Sanders has never thrown any of his current teammates under the bus. he takes care of his offensive linemen. He is the sole reason why a lot of these players like Travis Hunter, Jordan Seaton flock to Colorado, flock to Jackson State. If Shedeur wasn't at Jackson State, I don't know if Travis Hunter still plays for Deion Sanders. Shaduer Sanders is one of those players that people love to be around, contrary to popular belief. I got a homie that plays for Colorado. He said during the offseason, Shedeur flew the whole entire receiver room out to come train with him in Houston. There is a player that I went to FAU with that transferred to Colorado because of Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is a guy that everybody in the media loves to hate, but a lot of the players love to play with. You can get mad at the cockiness all you want to, but look who his dad is. And that's another thing. With Shedeur Sanders understanding the expectations that comes with the last name on his jersey, he understands the work that he needs to put in, the commitment, the excellence that he needs to have. The Raiders, on the front of their stadium, have a poster, or they used to have a poster that used to say, committed to excellence. It hasn't looked like they've been committed to excellence over these last couple of years, or probably the last 2 decades, but Shedeur Sanders is the meaning of that. Because you have somebody that has been mentored by Tom Brady. You have somebody that has been vouched for by Tom Brady. And with Tom Brady being a minority owner in the Raiders, I could see him whispering in Mark Davis' ears, hey, you got to draft that Shedeur Sanders kid. He's got it. I really don't see and understand the hate for Shedeur Sanders. I saw my guy Brett Coleman. I love you, Brett Coleman, but drafting Drew Aller over Shedeur Sanders is borderline outrageous when Shedeur Sanders has done more with less compared to Drew Aller. Drew Aller is too inconsistent. He's too erratic. Shedeur Sanders is a better quarterback prospect in terms of if he can be able to produce at a solid level for you day one out the gate. He's that guy. Drew Aller is a guy who has to sit for a year or two before you can be trusted enough to give him the reins to an offense. Shedeur, to me, is Joe Burrow, but he's just covered in chocolate. That's why, to me, Shedeur Sanders is a can't-miss quarterback prospect. This is one of the best quarterback prospects that I've seen come out of college football in recent memory. Is he as good as Andrew Luck and Caleb Williams? No, but he's definitely up there. If he would have declared for last year's draft, I would have drafted him over Drake May, Bo Nix, Michael Penix. He could have been QB3. And Drake May has been really good, but Shedeur Sanders is just on a different level when it comes to his ability to read the field, process defenses, go through his progressions. Shedeur Sanders is the full package. This is everything that you want in the franchise quarterback. If you want somebody that's going to bring energy and optimism back to your fan base, Shedeur Sanders is your guy. If you want somebody that's going to change your franchise from being a consistent loser and a consistent bottom dweller in the National Football League, Shedeur is the guy to do that. Just like how Joe Burrow was for the Cincinnati Bengals, when nobody thought they could ever get back to the Super Bowl, he did it in year 2. Shedeur Sanders is that kind of player. When I look at him, I see the black version of Joe Burrow.